Welcome back, my informed fam. Today we are diving into some more thought-provoking discussion with our girl Candace Owens, bringing perspectives that might challenge the mainstream narratives. So let's explore her take on various matters. In this recap, we touch upon the intriguing connections and allegations surrounding the hip-hop mogul Diddy, aka the now new Diddler. They are calling the D, the I, the D, the Diddler. This is crazy, bro. Diddy got a new name that he didn't give us. We in new times. Shedding light on the complexities of the narrative presented by the mainstream outlets. Candace Owens admirably presents multiple sides of the story, even as she delves into the controversial topics, urging us to consider the broader implications of the hidden agenda behind media portrayals. As we navigate through the discussions on topics like on the Diddy saga and the intricacies of the media manipulation, it becomes apparent that there is more to meet the eye, from MK Ultra references to insights into the inner workings of propaganda. We're prompted to question the narratives fed to us and seek the truth beyond the surface. But it's not just about dissecting mainstream narratives, it's also about empowering ourselves with knowledge and understanding. Insights on privacy issues highlighted by Elon Musk's actions. We're reminded of the importance of being informed and vigilant in today's world. As we listen to diverse viewpoints, from Shannon Sharpe's discussion on independence and ownership in the content creation landscape to reflections on the dynamics between creators and corporations, we encourage you to rethink your roles and responsibilities in shaping media discourse. So, join us as we embark on this journey of critical thinking, introspection, and empowerment, where every conversation is an opportunity to challenge the status quo and pave a way for a more informed and inclusive future. That's today's intro. We got our girl Candace Owens here back again with some opinions that the mainstream would not be aligned with. So we're checking her out, see what my good Oreo sisterin is talking about, and seeing her take on some of these things.
Oh my gosh, please stop everything. Have you heard about the P. Diddy scandal? The P. Diddy lawsuit, Puff Daddy, whatever you're calling him. And if you haven't heard about it, why? Because the media in Hollywood are clearly trying to bury it. That is why, but don't worry, we are going to discuss it.
AKA the Diddler, AKA what I dubbed him because I think it's funny, Chocolate Epstein. We got Diddy, AKA Chocolate Epstein. Man, this is crazy, bro.
Where do we begin? All right, well, he's changed his name many times over the years. You might know him as Sean Combs, Puff Daddy, Puffy, Puff, P. Diddy, or just Diddy, the D, the I, the D, the D, the Y. Okay, well, there have always been rumors, and quite frankly, I always thought that they were conspiracies because they sounded crazy. First and foremost, rumors that he was gay. Also rumors that he was behind the killing of his quote-unquote best friend, the notorious B.I.G., and also that he had something to do with the killing of Tupac. Well, last year, things got interesting because Combs' ex, her name was Cassandra, she went by Cassie, and she filed a federal lawsuit against him.
Yeah, we just doing a little recap. You say that Diddy is mook. That's what the kids are calling homosexual. And that he got some other artists, and she didn't mention him, but he got other artists to do some mook activities, Meek Mill being one of them. And yeah, let's get back to Candace.
In New York, alleging years of assaults. Now, again, they dated for like more than 10 years. So she obviously was very close to him and knew his lifestyle.
And seemingly there's a connection to Mike Jack through a bodyguard. The Diddy allegations, they go far. They go long. Ha! No Diddy must be part of the culture to get the nuance.
Her lawsuit contained graphic allegations that he raped her in 2018, that he physically abused her, that he intimidated her, that he made her have sex with male escorts while he watched. But of course, Diddy denied those allegations. And he instead came out and said that Cassie was simply trying to blackmail him for $30 million. And by the way, that is plausible, right? We've seen tons of those instances, especially in the era of Me Too. But this one felt a little different because we're like, okay, but she's known you for a very long time, and these allegations are quite weird, but we never got a follow-up there because then he very quickly settled with her for an undisclosed amount. And then even more women started coming out saying they were victims of Diddy, and then it seemed like an avalanche, and he issued a very strong statement condemning them for essentially extortion attempts and trying to murky his name. So again, you don't know what's real, you don't know what's not.
And here's why we have to give kudos to our good sisterin. At the very least, she's given him a fair shake. Even though she's talking about what the allegations are and a lot of it's negative, at least she's giving various sides. She's at least talking both perspectives, and we have to start recognizing that. If they don't talk both perspectives, if they don't give both sides, then yep, I'm gonna say it's a psyop. You're getting psyoped, you're getting lied to.
Until this recent lawsuit, and this one's different, guys. A man named Rodney Jones has come forward to sue Diddy, and this is not your average lawsuit. I will say right now, many lawsuits are in fact frivolous. I have fought and won frivolous lawsuits. This person, however, his name is Rodney Jones. He lived, traveled, and he worked with Diddy as a producer. And he is alleging that he has hours upon hours of recorded footage and pictorial evidence, which has been included in this document, to support his claims. And I have to say, these claims seem very credible.
Candace even puts herself into the claims and said, I've dealt with frivolous lawsuits before, and the next one is not one of them. Let's continue on.
Now, to be clear, Rodney, also goes by Lil Rod, is suing Diddy and others, we're going to get to who those others are, for $30 million, claiming that he was subjected to sexual misconduct for the duration of the production process of an album. It is a 70-page lawsuit that has been filed in the Southern District of New York. And he is claiming that while working on the album and living with Combs in New York, California, Florida, other locations, that Diddy repeatedly groped him, touching his, I'm sorry to say this, guys, his anus and his crotch without consent.
Yo, do you know how insane it is to grab somebody's anus? For somebody to be accusing you of grabbing their anus is so out of line. It is so... That's the allegations, though. That's just the allegations.
And attempting to groom him into accepting a homosexual relationship by showing him explicit videos of others in Hollywood. Yes, they have named other artists, claiming that homosexuality was a normal practice in the music industry. He's also claiming that Diddy would walk around the house naked and force him to watch him shower, and is alleging that he went forward and told Diddy's chief of staff, Christina Karam, about this. And Christina came back to him and said, well, you know, Sean will just be Sean.
Yo, for Sean to just be being Sean is insane. What is going on? What is the big psyop? Is this a thing? This is how the propaganda machine works, where they lie and lie to you, and they create this world that you occupy in the lie.
Let's go through the big claims. Ready? Number one, this is perhaps the biggest claim, is that Diddy and his son murdered someone in plain daylight and got away with it. That there's apparently a man that they know, that everyone who works with Diddy knows, that they can call and they essentially will get everything cleaned up. And they are implicating the LAPD in this madness because they produced fake reports. And he's got some real good evidence to back up these claims. He says that one evening during a camp that they were running with several musicians, Mr. Combs and Jay Combs were in a heated conversation with somebody named G. And while this conversation was moved out of the studio and into a restroom that was adjacent to where Jones was sitting, he heard approximately 2 feet away from him again, Mr. Jones is the producer that's suing him, gunshots suddenly ringing out. And he asked the crowd to call the ambulance. Now, here is what is interesting. The ambulance does arrive, and Mr. Combs, according to Mr. Jones, Diddy gives strict instructions to inform the police that he had nothing to do with the shooting. He also forced the producer to lie to the police by telling them that G was shot while standing outside of the studio. And the police just believed this, despite the overwhelming evidence that this shooting did not take place outside of the studio and that it instead took place inside near the bathroom. He includes in his lawsuit this photo of the bathroom and we are blurring it here, of the blood in that bathroom. And then it is stunning because he also shows how the media then reported it, right? A fake police report was produced and then fake headlines were the result. This is CBS News. Man shot outside party at Hollywood recording studio. The key word there is outside. How on earth could the LAPD be implicated in lying? Well, he alleges that there is an individual, again, that they know that they can call to clean up any types of murders. And that individual will make sure the right officers write down the fake police reports and that those are then fed to the media to cover up murder.
Yeah, it's interesting how they're covering the Diddy story, rather the Diddler story. Interesting how they're doing it. But also what's interesting is how the news implicated the police in the whole thing. Okay, Diddy was doing whatever he's doing. That's fine. But the police are involved. The police lied? How was this thing going? They told the wrong story. How many friends does he actually have? Or who's protecting him? Rather, what group is he a part of that's protecting him? Who's protecting his interests? That they will be protecting their own interests? I don't know. I'm just asking questions because it's strange. It's funny. I'm just looking at this Candace Owens video and I'm saying, I think I smell a little propaganda. Because who knew hip hop was controlled like this? Who knew music that we've been listening to and singing and dancing to and was involved in all this nonsense? This is crazy.
The second big explosive thing that came from this document are the allegations that Diddy hosts freak-offs, essentially sexual events to procure blackmail on other people in the industry. That they all come and they have these drug-fused parties with underage boys, with underage girls. And throughout this lawsuit, he names multiple current rappers that have been involved in these parties and are therefore existing under blackmail, right? So if you can suddenly record somebody and they're hooking up with a person that is underage, if you're doing drugs and Diddy has cameras on it, well, then Diddy owns you. Which leads me to think, what even is gangster rap? It's a question that I have been asking a lot. It seems to me that there is something intentional, that they are intentionally feeding us filth via the media.
Yeah, that's a good question. Are they intentionally feeding us filth? I would say yeah. I would say they're intentionally feeding us filth because how was it on TV if there's 50 people involved in a production? All 50 of these people is good with the quality of the program that we're watching or the context of the program that we're watching? All of them are okay with this kind of thing? The kids are not going to see this? This is appropriate? I'm just asking the question.
Well, now Cat Williams is on Joe Rogan, the Joe Rogan podcast, and he is trying to signal to the world that people in Hollywood, that Hollywood altogether was built as a psychological weapon, so to speak. Take a listen to Cat Williams in his own words.
Hollywood is not really there to entertain you. Like, that's great that happens. But propaganda is something that is important to all civilizations.
And those movies are successful. And so they continue this relationship. And you become a bit of a propaganda arm.
That's what makes information so powerful is, you don't care how people feel about the ritual. It's about does following the ritual work. Yeah. And so you can fool yourself into thinking there isn't one, but the evidence will be clear. So like when I be like, oh, these guys are wearing dresses. Everybody's like, oh, he keeps talking about people wearing dresses. No, it's not.
That is a weird thing.
It's not like that. Look at it from a different way. Look at it. Show me one person that ever wore a dress in Hollywood unsuccessfully.
So maybe that's the answer to why the media seems to be burying the story. You can't find it anywhere. Maybe it's because, well, a lot of them are implicated. This is the case of the dog that is not barking right now. It suggests to us that our media is definitively run by some sort of a gang that has amassed a ton of power and wealth via sexual blackmail. Again, we keep hearing this over and over again. At what point are we going to accept that this is true?
There we go. He said it. Cat Williams at the top of the year talking about truth. It's continuing. I mean, we do have more truth now because this independent media, aka independent journalism that's going on. People are talking about the truth a little more coming up. It's a lot more popular. People are talking about the truth now. That's what's going on.
when we wonder why our media is in lockstep lying to us. He's talking about a ritual where they don't even care. It's performative. They're going to keep men wear dresses until we accept that this is the new thing. He is implying that Hollywood intentionally was sent to make it so that we would accept the trans agenda.
Did you peep? Kat said it's propaganda arm. I don't know where he got this from. Do you guys know where he got this from? Do you guys know where he got this from? To understand this thing has a historical context. Let's swing you back to the 70s. Remember those hippies I mentioned? They were the apple of the government's eye in the 70s with a couple research programs involving LSD and other powerful psychedelic drugs. An umbrella term for the experiments is MK Ultra, a CIA op in California that had connections to Hollywood. In the 70s, the CIA started a program where they solicited recently released inmates, one including Charles Manson, to enroll in some of his clinical drug trials. There's some people in Hollywood that you guys all know of, some prominent figures that's lived this stuff. Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio depicts an alternative to the tragic event with the Manson family. I don't know if y'all knew about that, but that was a government operation. Just telling you, that's history. You could wiki it. It's public knowledge,
which is now everywhere. It wasn't here, now it's everywhere. And of course, if you think about the intelligence agencies potentially being involved, that they are in lockstep with our policing, like the LAPD at least is implicated in this, as we understand it. If they are in lockstep with also journalists, well, then you have a case of what we recognized during COVID. It very much seemed like people were being sent to us to tell us things that we just knew was not true, but they were going to keep saying it until it was. So I want you to deeply consider that plausibility, that there is a ring that is operating. It's almost, to me, the only thing that makes sense. It's the only thing that adds up. There's just been so much obvious lying that is happening in the mainstream media.
I'm not even this brave. But my good sis is straight up talking about it, straight up saying the media is a gang. So now, you gonna listen to Nixon 30 years ago? Or you gonna listen to Candace now? I don't know, I'm just presenting it. I'm just showing both sides. I'm just helping you understand what you see isn't actually what you get. There's a hidden prize in it. And guess what the hidden prize is? It's propaganda. It's a lie for you to believe. Because we want you to believe it. You heard?
I have said this for a while, and it's very clear to me that we are all being groomed as a society to accept pedophilia. That they're just going, this is totally fine. That seems to be coming down the pipeline. It's clear that there are politicians that are passing pieces of legislation through just to support this perverted agenda. It's clear that the celebrities are supporting a perverted agenda. The music makers, well, maybe every single one of them, these individuals, are being blackmailed. Again, I think that is the only thing that makes perfect sense.
The gang that she's referring to is Ziblob. Ziblob. Remember, the Ziblob will make you eat Zibugs. It's the people in power that control and run everything and have been secretly within its country. And we only get snippets of it when people brush up against it. We got it when Nixon brushed up against it, and that's why we covered it. We getting it right now, and I'm asking the question, how was all of this happening? How was it all connected? Diddy is a black man in America. Why didn't they throw him under the jail like they do all of us? Please help me understand why Diddy's name not being ran through. I'm confused. I mean, I was a cop, fakely. I was a fake cop, so racism is here, a little something, tell you a little taste. Diddy's not on the news. I mean, you don't find that suspicious. Why didn't they throw him under the jail right away, like we think that they should have? And usually do. That's why we had the Harvard professor on, where we just spoke about the numbers not adding up to our experience. And why is that? It's going perfectly well. It's because our experience is being managed. And that you would think a black man like the Diddler would go under the jail as soon as he is accused. But he doesn't. He doesn't follow the rules that every other black person follows because he has money. No. They took R. Kelly right out. They took Bill Cosby. They got him up out of here quick too. So, what, Diddy got more friends than him? I don't know. Because he's part of the upper class. He's gang. As a matter of fact, he's a working arm of the gang. He's the working hip hop arm of the game. If they got a hip hop arm, I mean, it may seem like they do because Diddy ain't locked up. Not that I want him to get locked up. I'm happy that he's out, and I mean, we got to pray for him. But also, I'm just asking questions about what is going on because it's not adding up, and I just want the numbers to add up. You know what I'm talking about? I just want it to the math. It should for the regular person. Yo, shout outs to Killer Mike, Run the Jewels, first off with the actual education, with the actual knowledge of what you should be doing if you really engage in political change.
There was an incident at the Grammys. Mm-hmm. It led to you being taken out in handcuffs and arrested. That was wrong. Obviously, it's an ongoing legal matter, so I don't know how much you can say about it.
Well, as a prosecutor, you know I can't say it.
You can't say much. But can you just give us some sort of description, because people are they're talking too much.
I think the backstage was overcrowded. I think the winners were exuberant. And I think security got a little overzealous, and that's all. It's all, you know, it's water under the bridge for me. Yeah. I like to say all of my heroes have been in handcuffs: Malcolm, Martin, Mandela, Medgar. So, you know, I don't.
If you don't know what happened, Killer Mike had recently won a Grammy, and at the Grammys he got arrested for some issues that he was facing, and they were asking him about it.
Being somewhat critical of President Biden, saying you weren't ready to endorse him yet. What's your holdup there?
What's my holdup? Well, first of all, I think everyone should focus on hyper-local. We get caught up in the soap opera of federal elections, and that's fine. But if you are concerned with the federal election, you don't know who your city council or your wardsman is, you don't know who your mayor is, and you don't have a good list of state representatives or governor, then you're just a part of whoever wins the Super Bowl or fanfare.
Get hyper-local because these are the people that are around you that will affect the change that you want. Let's continue to hear from my man, Killer Mike.
So my most important election is going to be in about a year and a half for who's my mayor going to be. I think that Andre Dickens is doing a great job around housing in Atlanta, and I don't want that to be lost. Even though we have a Republican governor, Brian Kemp, I have a good relationship with him. I like what he's done in terms of Georgia business.
Me a little bit with your support of Kemp, but let me tell you this.
Not support of Kemp.
Some of his policies.
That's some misinformation.
Killer Mike started running down a whole list of people that you should know, and I guarantee you don't know them in your city. Let us know in the comments below if you do, though. Okay, you don't know, and there's a reason why you don't know them. Because they're the ones that actually will make change, that will help you, and they don't want you to know them. Duh.
You can not like me, but don't lie on me. I saw someone I really respect, a black woman who's a commentator.
So you don't support him, you like his policies.
Wow,
from here on, I want you to peep something. I want you to peep the people that they have touting certain perspectives, certain viewpoints, certain things. They always use women and black people. Malcolm said it. It's always a bunch of entertainers. It's a bunch of people that they're controlled, puppets. We'll have somebody out here shucking and jiving and telling us something, and we only really listen to it because the person looks like us. That's how artful deception is. Just because that person looks like us, so our defenses are down. Even though we might not agree with something that they say, we will still hear it out. And because we still hear it out, now we're open to that opinion. Meanwhile, that opinion, we should not be open to it. That opinion we should absolutely not accept. The example that I'm gonna use is how this young lady did something sarcastic and Mike did not take it like sarcasm. Killer Mike did not take it as a joke. Meanwhile, she presented it like a joke, supporting Republicans. Why would she have a problem with Killer Mike supporting Republicans? He's gonna give you the answer, but I wanna ask you, why does she have a problem with it? Understand, when we watch these shows, they want you to be on the panel side. And that's why they have certain panelists say certain things, is because they know the audience is gonna pick their favorite panelists and just go with whatever they said because they said it. I'm telling you this because this is the ethos and this is what we do here. We're gonna show y'all the propaganda and we're gonna counter it with a what? Shit me? We gonna get to it, that's what we doing here.
Some specific ones he named.
Beyond that, he's the governor of my state, so I have to be involved with him because I can't divorce myself. If someone is in the king's seat, I'm not going to not have dinner with the king on behalf of my people.
Mike said it so well. Whoever's in the king's seat, I cannot divorce myself from it because I don't like them. We're adults. We should be able to sit down with people that we disagree with and still come to understandings. We should still be able to sit down with people that we don't share the same viewpoint and still have a decent conversation, have a decent dialogue just because we don't like them. We shouldn't talk to them. This is nonsense. This is how we end up in the same cage that we in right now, where daytime talk shows are touting political views and the people that are watching them have no idea that they're touting political views.
Now, I want to finish this. This is on your behalf. At a certain point, we can't be. At a certain point, these are black men and women, and in particular, these are black women. On some real G shit. It doesn't matter how you feel about her personally, but you cannot take the truth and be mad at who tells it to you. So just chill, bruh. Shut the up. Let her say it and receive the information.
Let her say it and receive the information. Here's another example of Killer Mike displaying his tolerance when he's just on stage with Candace and T.I. and a couple other people, and the audience wasn't allowing Candace to speak because nobody really likes our Oreo sistering. Understandable. But Mike doing what he does, showing the tolerance of different viewpoints. He checked the crowd immediately like, yo, what's going on? This is a sister. Y'all don't like it? But let's listen to what she got to say. But I want you to understand this is how artful deception is done. In one hand, you're going to listen to a viewpoint that you shouldn't listen to because you like the person saying it. And on the other hand, you're not going to listen to a viewpoint because you don't like the person saying it, yet the people saying it look the same. The problem is if this person says something that I don't like, and I don't like them, then it's F whatever they say. How can we actually grow? How can we actually get all the information if we aren't willing to listen to the people that we don't agree with? How are we going to be able to get a whole picture if we aren't willing to listen to the people that we don't like? But on the same breath, we can listen to somebody that we do like, but they're spewing bullcrap and none of the stuff that we need. This is why I ask, do we like to be lied to? This is why I say some of the things that I say. Look at the results. Look at what's going on. Why we don't have somebody like Candace on The View? Because it's not what The View is for. See, The View is for the Dems, and we want anyone who listens to The View to be thinking on the side of the Dems. You heard? That's what's going on. But y'all don't understand that, and that's why we're here exposing it. Yo, we got to get this next clip. Our favorite billionaire, young Elon, not liking his privacy being public. Y'all see what I did there? Y'all see that little wordplay? Check that little wordplay, see what's going on? Now, you see how I used it. I want y'all to understand what it means. Let's check out this next clip.
Elon Musk was sending complaints privately to Jack Dorsey and Parag Agrawal about this Twitter account that's following his plane.
At ElonJet, it's literally an account that tracks the whereabouts of his private plane. Elon was very unhappy with this, and so he complained to Parag in January of 2022, asking for the account to be removed, and Parag essentially ignored him. What was interesting about that timing is that at the very end of January 2022, Elon Musk started buying shares of Twitter.
Yo, my son Elon is wild. He asked them, yo, take this ElonJet page down. They follow me around. They probably was like, nah. I ain't gonna do it. Elon said, I'm gonna buy the whole company then. Y'all wanna play? I asked y'all to take this down and I'm gonna buy the whole X. I'm gonna buy the whole Twitter.
You could imagine that he wants this account removed. They're not doing it for him. What could you do if you had more money than you knew what to do with? Well, you could become a shareholder in that company and try and use your position as a shareholder to sort of pressure them to take this account down. And he created an entire new policy at Twitter, like on a whim, doxing someone's real-time location.
Words to know, doxing.
Doxing is the action or process of searching for and publishing private or identifying information about a particular individual on the internet, typically with malicious intent.
So Elon went and bought Twitter because he was being doxxed. And I'm sure the regular average person that is watching does not know or understand what doxing is. That's when you take somebody's private information and you put it on the internet with a malicious intent. That's what doxing is. So Elon went and bought Twitter and changed the rules of Twitter because somebody was making his private information public. And Elon was not with it. Also, I want you to understand how important privacy is and how letting their private information get into the public is a big no-no. But we don't. We should start taking some cues from them. Let's check out this next clip from my man Shannon Sharp. Yo, Shannon was looking type sharp in the Yayoi Kusama Louis jacket. Very nice. He was talking to Steve Stout, and we had to take a little piece of this clip because there's some hip-hop gold. Listen up and check out this next clip.
You also knew LeBron at a very young age. I mean, LeBron was what, like 15, 16 when you met him?
I met LeBron when he was 17. I pitched LeBron. The whole story about LeBron and the $10 million check that he turned down.
Yes.
I was there. It was my idea to give him the check. I was in the room to give him the check.
A kid with a single mom.
I couldn't believe it.
Living in an apartment.
Yeah.
And you got a $10 million check. So here you go, bro.
Paul Feynman. So I tell Paul Feynman, I'm like, we leave. We're in New York for meetings. We're flying up to Massachusetts to meet LeBron. He's flying the plane, from Akron. It's like a 6 o'clock, 5:30 meeting. I had to finish school to come to me. Boom. I'm like, Paul, he goes, Adidas is going to do the deal. Nike's going to do the deal. He wants to go to Nike. His agent is already pre-approved, did a deal with Nike. I'm like, let me tell you how you deal with this. In the record business, when you want to sign somebody, you give them the money right there in the front. Like, you know what? Whatever you think the number is, we'll give you this signing bonus right now to not even take the other meetings. Because I figure if you're meeting me, you're really considering it.
Right.
I'm going to give you a signing bonus to make on top of what you think you should get so that there's no reason for you to take the other meetings. $10 million is the number. He calls his wife. This is when I seen some balling shit. He calls his wife. When we land on the FBO, there's a $10 million personal check waiting at the thing because we're going right to the office. I'm leading the pitch to LeBron and Maverick and his agent at the time. I can't remember this guy's name. Aaron Gordon. Doing the pitch, doing the whole thing, and we get to the final stage, and Paul's going to present him the check. Paul presents him the check. I remember staring at his face. This is huge. We're going to sign LeBron James. We leave the room, we come back. When he leaves the check and says he's going to take the other meetings, I clap. I knew the world changed. A young black man, 18 years old, walked away from $10 million going back to the projects. I clapped. And it was my idea. That didn't work. It meant so much. Not that the Reebok was wrong or the check was wrong, but the freedom and confidence and belief in yourself to do that. This is a new generation of individuals. This is a new generation of thought that's coming from African Americans. That's what I thought about. And I was so proud of us at that moment.
Wow. And you pretty much been in his life because you did the Beats by Dre commercial with him. You did it with Bronny. LeBron and I are like this, man. Me, LeBron, Maverick, Rich, I could tell you everything. I mean, Ramos, these are my brothers. Right. These are my brothers.
Maverick worked with me, since he was 6 months before that. Maverick was with me, staying at my crib, working out of my office, me mentoring him, giving him, the tips, showing him the business, whatever. Like, those are my brothers.
Right.
It's like that. I've been in every iteration of that camp, from before the decision to this, to every single thing. Love those guys. Love LeBron. And how you feel about him is, I'll just tell you right now, forget the arguing of who's the best basketball player of all time. There's not even a question. He's the best athlete of any sport of all time. But forget whether he's the best basketball player or not, he's the best professional athlete in any sport I've ever heard of, seen of. Nobody's even close.
I don't know, man. We question everything over here. This was your idea and you came up with it and you wasn't tight? You was happy? You ain't think the audacity of this kid? I mean, that's on one hand. That's the business side. But on the other hand, you said you was proud. I could take that. I'll take that, no Diddy. 'Cause of this good chocolate skin, I'll take that. But he's a politician, man. Steve Stout's a politician for that little answer he just gave. I don't like it, man. It feel right. It didn't sit right with me. Where you have to understand you're gonna get some of them from our side because business is ugly like that. Where they would happily take advantage of LeBron. They would have happily paid him $10 million and made $100 million off him and let it happen. But why we use this clip is because Steve Stout says this is a new breed of thought, that people are going to bet on themselves, and people have to be betting on themselves through social media. People have been taking the independent route. We've been had a couple of LeBrons as far as thought process. I'm gonna do it myself. I'm gonna try. I'm not gonna go corporate. I'm gonna bet on me and put all my eggs in this basket and see what I can make. This is one of the highest examples of it. King James, a fellow millennial.
How do you determine whether or not to take a salary, a large salary, or take a smaller salary with equity in something? How do you determine that? How does Steve Stout determine that?
So I'm in the music business.
Yes.
I went through something.
Yeah.
Okay. If you don't mind me telling you the story.
I would love to hear it.
I'm working at the record company. I'm at Interscope. I went from Sony, I went to Interscope. My salary is $2.5 million a year. I'm 27 years old. I'm doing well by anybody's standards.
Yeah.
Better than well.
Yeah.
Right? Making money, more money than football players back then so in 97.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
This opportunity comes along where I see, Men in Black happens, the agency that put the glasses in product placement for Will Smith. Oops, sorry. The agency that did that, I wanted to work with them because I've never met an agency before. I'm like, damn, Will Smith wore these glasses. The glasses went crazy, and everybody thinks that was an accident. I could do that shit every single day. I know exactly who the people are that should be touching these products in order to create, an opportunity to sell more of that product. I spent time with that agency. The guy made me an offer. I'll give you 25% of the agency and $150,000 salary if you come here. So I'm going to leave the record business. $2.5 million. All of the
perks that come along
with it. Who you are, the rooms you walk in, everything that comes with that. To go work in an agency where I don't know anybody. I really don't even know the business. I just know that one aspect of the business. And I'm like, if I don't make that bet on myself now, and I'm 28 years old, 29 years old, when would I ever do it? When I have a family, when I have kids? I'll never make that bet.
Right.
I made that bet. We sold that agency within 2 years for $190 million. I was rich as fuck at 31. Yeah. I was 31 years old.
Wow.
Doing it at an extremely high level. I'll tell everybody that. When I built this company, United Masses, the employees get equity in the company. I want people to get equity. I want people to make more money. But you can't teach people sacrifice. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to have to disagree with you on that, Stevie, because no, I'm not able to teach people sacrifice, but you can give them options. Remember, we got options. You can tell them how those options will affect them in the short term and in the long term. You can allow them to make their own decisions for the long term. If they're smart and they understand, then they can make the right decision to you. If they're thinking in the short term, you don't know what they could be going through. They may need the money. There's different strokes for different folks.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
You just can't teach it.
That's what then you got to be willing to give
That's
up
what you got to be willing to do that. I will offer that. But if you're going to sit there and think short term, then you're really betting against yourself. You got to be willing to bet on yourself. You can't think that you're getting away with something because somebody overpaid you. You got to believe that you are worth more than that salary and that you can prove that. And if you are worth more than that salary, why wouldn't you have equity? I'll tell everybody that. When I built this company, United Masses, the employees get equity in the company. I want people to get equity. I want people to make more money. But you can't teach people sacrifice.
This is the conversation that content creators need to understand that they're having, even if they're not having it, because they already created the equity in the content. They've already created the value. They just don't understand that the value they've created is valuable. They don't know where to sell it. They don't know how to sell it. They don't know how to monetize. They don't know how to engage with the audience they created and extract value. But we learning, we studying, we gonna find out, we gonna figure it out.
I just think that it's time, over time, the whole working class idea, how you work, has shifted from the indentured servant, the slave, the employee, to ownership. You got to have ownership. I mean, this is your show, and I'm proud to do this with you because everybody publicly seen what you did, that you knew your worth. You created value, and you knew your worth, and you got what you deserved because you got what you earned.
Correct.
And
that's another part of this that's not being said, where we're gonna figure it out because we've already taken a chance on ourselves. This whole time as content creators that's been out here, that's been cooking for the last 20, 10, 15 years, making content every day, and they figured it out. The masses are gonna figure it out soon. And that's part of the big struggle that we're witnessing right now in crypto.
if you don't have an opportunity to have ownership, then no matter how good you are, you'll never feel the impact of your value. So, you got to do that. And you're going to take a short-term L to do that, so what?
Right.
I don't want to be one of these people. I never wanted to be one of these people who said, man, I came up with this idea, I invented this, I did all this shit, but you never got a chance to benefit from it because you took the short-term money? That's not cool. And you see it all the time with a lot of your peers. I'm sure you want to tell them all the time, man. I don't know what you could do to help them, but a lot of these guys they are trapped by that mentality of short term. They feel like they're stealing or something. Like every time they get a check, they're getting away with something. No, you're giving away too much.
Right.
This conversation is beautiful because it's like the majors talking to the independents. See, Steve Stout has been a music industry executive for a long time. That's how we know him, as a music industry executive. And Shannon Sharp, we know him as a pro athlete. But Shannon is independent right now with Club Shay Shay. Shannon was on the show at ESPN, The Majors. Shannon was getting treated unfairly, wasn't getting paid like he weighed, so he left. And that's what's going on with creators versus corporations. The programs in the mainstream media is part of the mainstream machine, and the other content isn't part of the machine. They're independent, like myself and others.
Well, it comes down to, how do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as talent, or do you see yourself as a partner? Do you see yourself as an owner? For so long, we've been talent
taught to believe that.
Do you see yourself as talent? Do you see yourself as a partner? Do you see yourself as an owner? Content creators, that question is for y'all. Do you see yourself as a partner with YouTube, as a partner with TikTok, as a partner with whatever platform you're using? Do you see yourself as you own your content and that you should have the rights to your content? You should have equity that comes with your content. See, these are conversations that we have concerning our content, concerning all the things around our content and what our content generates. And we don't have it with the mainstream media. We can have it amongst ourselves, we can have it with each other, and we need to start that conversation at the very least. Content creators, the more I talk to y'all, the more I feel connected, because I feel like people are actually doing what they're supposed to be doing. Even if we aren't all collectively doing what we're supposed to be doing, or know that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, we're doing relatively good because collectively we're fighting in our own way. And it's coming off. It's coming off in the quality of the propaganda. Now the propaganda is just straight up a lie. Before, it used to be at the very least, it was a good lie. It would have me, it would have my head wrapped around. I would be like, wow. And it's garbage because the lies just fall apart. There's too many stories being told, and the people that's telling the stories are the content creators. That's the people doing the independent journalism from every platform, from X to Instagram. The truthers are doing the number. Matter of fact, let me touch on this. I just watched that Netflix special. If you get a chance to check it out, go check it out and witness the propaganda for yourself. See if you could weigh between the two stories of what they said happened and what we said happened. How was that? And I want y'all to understand that that's what's going on. We may not ever see that they took a deal, and that's the point. That's their business that they took a deal, but we want you to get the actual truth. We want you to get what actually happened so you can make a decision for yourself, so you can be informed. We're gonna keep doing what we doing over here, you know what I'm saying? And we doing it just cause, you know, I'm having fun, you know? I enjoy the truth. CEO Fox cares if don't nobody else care. It's a funny way. I should not care, but I care. I don't like that I just wake up and it just gotta fight a lie every day. It's just, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. I have to do something about it. So I'm doing a little bit I could do, you know what I'm saying? I ain't leading the charge. I'm in the crowd, but I'm in the crowd. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't in the crowd 2 years ago. I was watching, you know what I'm saying? Nobody visited me yet. I hope they don't. I'll tone it down. Not really, but I'm saying that I will if you guys come. All right? Stay black. Stay tuned for more insights, more critical thinking, facts and questions. Remember, the last free place is your mind. They can't control what you think. Check back next week for another episode of Knowledge. That was good. I like the little. You got me in my bag today. I know what I'm saying. You know what I'm talking about?